do you or do you not have chemical weapons?
First of all, regarding what Obama and Kerry said, I dare them to say that we said no once. We never said it.
You never said.
No. We never said. We never
tell
said.
us now.
We never said no. We never said yes.
Can
we
you
always say yeah? But we always say it's classified issue. We don't have to discuss it. And if we want to talk about it, we say if. And if means you may have it, you may not. So this is blatant lie.
Okay, but can you tell us now? Do you have chemical weapons or don't you?
Yes, when we joined the treaty last week, it means that we have, and we said that. So it's not a secret anymore.
So as far as the American people, you
So what do you mean by quickly?
Since it is the United States which demanded that you give up chemical weapons, would you be prepared to turn over your chemical weapons to the U.S. government for the purposes of safely destroying those weapons?
As I said, it needs a lot of money. It needs about $1 billion. It's very detrimental to the environment. If the American administration is ready to pay those money and to take the responsibility of bringing toxic materials to the United States, why don't they do it? But of course, it's going to be in cooperation with the specified organization in the United Nations.
But you're prepared to hand them over at some point for the safe destruction of them?
Doesn't matter where, as I said. At the end, if you're going to destroy them, doesn't matter where they go.
Are there any conditions?
No, we don't have any condition to send it anywhere. At the end, if it's going to be destroyed, it could be destroyed anywhere.
So just to summarize, you do have chemical weapons. You're prepared to go along with the plan to destroy them, and that you're prepared to cooperate with the international community in that.
Again, as I said, what you mentioned all are part of the international agreement, and when we agreed to join this agreement, we want to fully cooperate with this agreement, not partially. I think this is very clear. Misunderstanding that we agreed upon this agreement because of the American threat. Actually, if you go back before the G20, before the proposal of this initiative, the Russian initiative, the American threat wasn't about handing over the chemical arsenal. It was about attacking Syria in order not to use the arsenal again. So it's not about the threat. Syria never obeyed any threat. Actually, we responded to the Russian initiative and to our need and to our conviction that we have. But information is different from evident.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different.
So you disagree with the UN report?
No, I don't disagree. You have to wait till you have evidence. You can agree and disagree when you have the evidence.
They have the evidence. They've interviewed 40, 50 people on the ground.
Yeah, we have to discuss the evidence with them. We have to discuss it with them because they are going back. They haven't finished their mission yet. They are going back, and we have to discuss it with them. We have to see.
UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has said that this is, in fact, a war crime, that it is despicable, that it is a grave violation of international law. If that event happened, as they are saying it did happen, would it be despicable? Would it be a violation of international law?
That's self-evident, of course.
Self-evident?
Of course, that's self-evident. It is despicable. It's a crime. Because the credibility of the videos and the pictures.
Exactly.
No one verified. The only verified things are the samples that the delegation go and took. Samples of blood and other things from the soil and so on.
Which is what they say they have.
Yeah, but you cannot build a report on videos if it's not verified.
But they are basing it on the blood samples.
Especially as we live in a world of forgery for the last 2.5 years regarding Syria. You have a lot of forgery on the internet.
Now there's a last key element to this UN report. And while the UN inspectors did not lay blame, that is, they did not place culpability for the attack, there are many experts interpreting this report, some that I've spoken to in the last 12 hours, that frankly say this attack looks firmly like an attack coming from your government, from the Syrian government. They point to a few things. They say it was a large amount of gas, sarin gas, maybe as much as a ton. The rebels could not have had that. They say the type of rocket, an M14 artillery, a 330 millimeter, never used by the rebels before, that they needed large vehicles to send these rockets up. The rebels don't have that. And maybe most importantly, they point to the trajectory of the rockets. They say that they were able to trace the rockets back from the impact point to where they came from. And in 2 different occasions, this is according to the UN, they say that the start point was Khe Sanh Mountain, the headquarters of the Republican Guard. What do you say to that?
Everything you mentioned is part of the report.
Excuse me, sir?
Everything you mentioned, all these points, are part of the report?
These points are
or
all part of the report. These are
Okay.
all facts.
No, the report didn't mention anything regarding the Republican Guards or things like this.
They said they gave the azimuth tracking of the trajectory, and people have extrapolated from the azimuth track that that is where it was coming from, northwestern Damascus.
Yes. First of all, the sarin gas called the kitchen gas. Do you know why? Because anyone can make sarin in his house.
They said it's very high quality, higher quality than even used in Iraq by Saddam Hussein, your neighbor at the time.
First of all, any rebel can make sarin. Second, we know that all those rebels are supported by governments. So any government that would have such chemical material can hand it over to those.
The experts say that they've tracked nothing like this. It's a ton of sarin gas. It is launchers, it is rockets, it's a whole fleet, which happen to be, from time to time, those kinds of armaments, those kind of munitions happen to be in your bases.
No. This is realistically cannot be possible. You cannot use the sarin beside your troops. This is first. Second, you don't use WMD while you're advancing. You're not being defeated, you're not retreating. The whole situation was in favor of the army. This is second. Third, we didn't use it when we had bigger problems last year. Third, when they talk about any troop or any unit in the Syrian army that's used these kind of weapons, this is false for one reason, because chemical weapons can only used by specialized units. It cannot be used by any other units like infantry or similar traditional units. So terrorist groups have used sarin gas, and those evidence handed over to the Russians. This is first. Second, the Russian satellites, since the beginning of these allegations at the 21st of August, they said that they have information through their satellites that the rocket launched from another area. So why to ignore this point of view? So civil war doesn't mean to have 80 or 83 nationality coming to fight within your country supported by foreign countries. What we have is not civil war, what we have is a war, but it's a new kind of war.
So you're blaming outside interests then for the acceleration of the war. Now, there's just some statistics that have come out from IHS James. They're a defense analyst group. They estimate the opposition as 100,000, 30,000 of which are hardline Islamicists sympathetic to the 10,000 Al-Qaeda-inspired jihadists. Now, any of these Syrian, are they all outsiders? Where are they getting their money?
First of all, no one has this precise number. This is exaggeration, because most of the jihadists, when they come to Syria, they don't come through countries and they don't come through organizations. They just come by plane to neighboring countries, and they cross the border like any other one, and they just want to come to Syria for the jihad with the other jihadists. So nobody has these numbers. We know that we have tens of thousands of jihadists, but we are on the ground. We live in this country. What I can tell you that 80, and some say is 90, well, it's difficult to be precise. We don't have clear data and precise data. 80 to 90% of the rebels on the ground, of the terrorists, are Al-Qaeda and their offshoots. Is this realistic?
So you're saying you're not killing your own people, but your forces have launched attacks on villages where your own people have been killed.
No, actually what you're talking about is when the terrorists infiltrating residential area in villages, and sometimes in the suburbs of the cities and within large cities, and the army has to go there to get rid of those terrorists. And the problem now is not a war between two countries and two armies that you say, I took that land and I liberated the other land and so on. It's about the infiltration of the terrorism. Even